It's coming up to 10:15. Questions about the National Broadband Network. A week and a half ago, there was the announcement, the further rollout. 7 more towns coming up for National Broadband, NBN, fibre optics to go past the door. And the firm hope, you would imagine, from the federal government and other boosters of the project, that there will be a greater enthusiasm for it in terms of take-up rates from what we've already seen in Tasmania. If you have a question about it, 1300 222 936. Trent Williams is the General Manager of External Affairs at NBN Co. Trent Williams, good morning to you.
Hello, Lee, and thanks for having me on.
And thank you for coming into to our studios this morning. Look, 11,000 homes involved, but will they want to use it? What are you going to be doing differently to encourage people to connect the last few feet of the NBN into their house and into their laptop or desktop computers?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. I think, for a start, we're pretty happy with what's happened in the first 3 sites. Our take-up's been around 17-18%, which is significantly above what the original forecasts thought the take-up might be. But you're right. I think what we're looking at doing going forward is being much more active in communities in terms of running information sessions, in terms of getting into the media, in terms of explaining to people what the benefits of the NBN will facilitate and what they're going to be able to do in the future on the new network. So just in terms of what we're doing over the next couple of weeks with regards to the first 2 sites, there's going to be a couple of information sessions, one in Tribunna on Saturday and one in Sorel at the market between the hot dog stand and the coffee machine on Sunday. So we really like people to come down and to quiz us. There'll be a whole team from NBN down there, and people will be able to ask questions like, like, what will I be able to do? What does it mean to get an install into the house? What am I going to have to change inside the house? And so on and so forth. So we really believe that getting the information out there and being active in telling people about what we're doing and how we're doing it and what they're going to be able to do in the future world and all these types of things are really going to educate people and drive uptake and really get people excited about what NBN can bring to them.
So you'll be talking about trying to create more noise, effectively, telling people the same message but louder and more comprehensively. Will you in fact not be changing your policy approach to connecting the NBN a little as well?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is this. As it goes past the door, I think it was an opt-out system last time and an opt-in this time, or is it going to be an opt-in or an opt-out last time? Just help me in explaining whether or not there's in fact been a change to how people get it to their door.
Okay, sure. So last time what we did is we actually letter-dropped every single resident within an area where we were proposing to build the new network. And what people would do is they would sign a form that said, I consent to NBN coming past the house and running what we called a lead-in, which is effectively like the utilities, a fibre optic cable from the power pole in the case of an aerial build down to the side of the house. So people would actually say, yes, NBN, I consent to you actually coming past and doing this for us. Now, in the next 7 sites, what we're going to do is we're going to build the network in the street, and then we're going to basically give the retail service providers, the Telstras, the iNets, the Optuses and so on and so forth, an opportunity to market to the end users and or for the end users to actually approach the retail service providers and say, look, I want to know what you can do for me, what products you've got, what prices, what's the service, and so on and so forth. So people will basically demand the NBN from their perspective, or RSPs will proactively market towards the customers or the people in the houses from their end. So that's basically the different policy. Okay,
so just to help me through it again, and let's, I'm going to do this, and you'll forgive the simplicity of your presenter here, but let's do it in the context of a simple wire. In the previous towns, you would actually, if people gave their consent, you would place a wire right up to the side of their house. In the new model, you will place, just run the wire to the telegraph pole or so on out the front of the house.
That's correct, yeah. So literally we'll go down the street and we'll put, whether it's if it's an aerial build, so we'll go along the power lines and we'll put the fibre optic cable along there, or if we're going along and putting utilising existing infrastructure such as what the power utilities have got underground, then we'll run it underground beside the houses. And then what we'll do is we'll make an announcement. So we will advertise in the local papers, and we'll put letters in the letterbox and so on and so forth, saying to the residents, your house is now what we call NBN ready, which means there is network in front of your house. Now, then it'll be up to the person living in the house to actively call one of the Telstras or Optuses or iNets and say, hey, there's NBN in front of my house. What have you got for me? Or, and I think we'll see this more and more, we'll have the Optuses and iNets and Internodes letter dropping or advertising in the local area saying, have we got a deal for you? And so what we'll get in the future is the people living in the premises will have more choice and be able to actually choose which service provider they're going to go with based on the different services they're offering, the product mixes and so on and so forth.
And how, in your view, will that promote a greater take-up of the national broadband network? Will people have to pay, whereas previously they didn't, to get at that last 30 feet from the footpath into their house?
Well, from an NBN perspective, we'll still be providing that free of charge. So we'll still be, the only difference will be is that instead of doing it whilst we're going down the street, we'll actually be doing it when people have actively asked for a service from a service provider. Mm-hmm. So the actual installation of the line from the power pole to the side of the house, we'll pay for that, and we'll also pay for the bit where we put in what we call a network termination device, which is like a modem or router inside the premises. So no, there'll be no extra charge to the residents or anything like that. But what it'll do is it really gives them a better choice. So people will be able to say, well, you know, like, okay, so this telecommunications company is offering this package, and this one's offering that, and so on and so forth. And I want to choose based on my needs and my requirements and what I really want to get out of it. But in terms of will it actively drive uptake of the NBN, I think people more and more, and over the last 12 months, I've seen this across the country and in Tasmania in particular, where people are starting to really get a grasp of what the NBN is going to be able to enable them to do going forward. So, you know, like, I go to functions, as you can imagine, all the time, where you've got all these different technology companies saying, you know, this is what's coming forward. And I've seen, you know, the next generation of TVs have inbuilt internet, they've got inbuilt IPTV, and they've got all these types of things. So as people start upgrading their TVs or their other applications inside their house, all of these things, or not all of them, but certainly a large majority of these things, are going to be things that can leverage high-speed internet access, which the NBN will deliver to them.
On your local ABC this morning, my guest this morning sounds pretty well equipped to answer any questions you might have about the National Broadband Network and its rollout. Trent Williams, General Manager, External Affairs at NBN Co. The announcement week and a half ago, another 7 locations. Tribana, Sorrel, Deloraine, St Helens, Kingston Beach, Georgetown, South Hobart. You might have some questions about the rollout of the NBN to your community, or some questions from within a community that already has it. Trent Williams, had the strange experience as we were welcomed into the Scottsdale Library, an outdoor broadcast we did there 6 weeks ago. I asked a question about the NBN and they said, "Oh, we've got it." And I said, "Really, where?" Looking at the computers arrayed around me. And they pointed to the roof, and there was the blue cable coming inside the library. It was all the way to the roof beam and wasn't connected the last 15 feet to the computers around us, giving them quicker internet. Why was that?
So what NBN does is the same as when, like you order any other service. So we basically bring the service to the premises. Now, whether it's a school or a library or a hospital or so on and so forth, we install and we make, we install the capacity for the premises to use the NBN. Now, in terms of actually taking a lead and connecting it to the back of a computer, that's going to be the person, or the back of whatever application they're going to use. That it will be the resident or the business owner or the hospital or so on, their responsibility to do. So NBN is like anything else. Like Telstra can lay a copper wire to your house. If you don't plug in the phone, Telstra have given you the opportunity to use the phone.
So has government taken up the opportunity of connecting to the NBN?
Government being?
Well, I suppose the state government or whichever body is administering the Scottsdale Library. Have they helped them with a broadband plan and the connection of the final feed? Do you know if you've got utilisation from those sorts of groups?
Look, I'm not actually familiar with whether the Scottsdale Library has leveraged the NBN yet or not. I do know that if they've been connected and they've been told that the service is activated, then they are able to plug it into the back of a computer, or they are able to do other things to leverage the high-speed internet access that is available to them. Now, I'm not sure of the exact date of when the fibre was installed into the library or so on. And sometimes they may be saying, well, we're actually going to look at different ways of rewiring, or we may be looking at different ways of leveraging the NBN and what it can offer to us. They may be replacing terminals. They may be doing a whole heap of things, which is their decision, and which may mean that they don't do it today or tomorrow, but they do it next week. So look, I'm not totally familiar with that example you're citing. But as long as the NBN is available to them, they can use it however they like. Nice to talk to you this morning. Lots of calls to get through. Trent Williams, I'll throw you into some talkback, and we'll punch through them as quickly as we can. Michael, in South Hobart. Good morning, Michael. Are you there, Michael? Come in over. Oh, what about if I press this button again? Michael, are you there? Okay, I'm going to keep moving, and we will say hello to Frank in Lindisfarne. G'day, Frank.
Good morning.
Your question for Trent.
Yes, isn't ultimately the copper wire going to be withdrawn, the copper service, so we'll have no choice but to use this technology?
Yeah, thanks, Frank. The intent is that over time, the copper network will be replaced, yeah. So we will be replacing fibre where there is currently copper, and therefore everyone will have the opportunity. Now that deal, as so to speak, is dependent on what we call the Telstra deal, which Telstra and NBN has been negotiating over the last period. So subject to that deal, that is the intent. That's correct.
So ultimately, you're not actually offering anyone a choice. You're telling people that you either change over now or you change over when the copper gets withdrawn.
Is that effectively the choice that people need to think about? Is it better to get it now or get it later, but we're getting it, Trent Williams?
Well, I think the opportunity at the moment is to get on early and to start leveraging. Like the copper network has been around for 150 years, and it's really served a fantastic purpose, and it was, and it's achieved what it was designed to do, and that is to provide basic communication services between 2 points. I think what everyone's realising, both in Tasmania, Australia, and then worldwide, is that our communication, the manner in which we communicate and what we communicate, and by that I mean, things like videos, but also data, like all of these communication methods have gone through the roof in terms of data usage, in terms of people putting their photos up on the internet and all this type of stuff. So
okay, but we will end up migrating to it. Look, I just want to race through some calls because we've got lots of people who want to have a quick chat to you, Trent. Just a quick one via email. Thank you, John. Can you confirm, Trent, that the National Broadband Network will go to Low Head and Bell Bay in the next round? The actual sites that we're going to after the next 7 have been are available on the internet. I can't remember. There's quite a few of them. You can access those on the NBN website. There's a whole list of them. But at the moment, those sites are the ones that we're going to next. That it doesn't mean we're not going to other sites. But you will be able to stick to that time. It is up on the web. I had a look at it this morning, John. So you'll be able to have a look on there. And what you're saying, Trent, is that you're planning to stick to the timetable you've got effectively at the moment.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. Good one. Let's say good morning to Jean in Devonport. Hello, Jean.
Oh, hello. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the broadband. I understood that it would be an automatic connection to the telephone, which is the only source of communication I have. But you don't seem to put that across. So do we get the telephone automatically connected? I think you said we have to consult different organisations.
No. So at the moment, Jim, what we're doing is you will be able to maintain the telephone line that you currently have.
Oh, good.
So when NBN... there's no question of that. What we're doing at the moment is we're offering you the opportunity to get fibre optic for other services.
Right.
Now, you can do the telephone over the internet these days, and with high-speed access...
I don't have internet, you see, so I just sort of, I would like the connection for the future.
Yeah.
It's just me here at the moment, but I mean, I've got nephews and family who have got sort of linked up and stuff. But my husband passed away, and so that's why I can't afford to have, other things. But anyway, please carry on. Yes, so what happens?
Yeah, no, you will definitely be able to keep your telephone. So the copper wire that you currently have and your telephone service provider, that all stays. What we'd be doing is running another line down, which you would be able to access the internet on if you so choose to.
Good on you, Jean. Thanks for your call this morning. I won't even mention the number because it's a minute and a half to news and we've got a heap of calls to get through. Marion, good morning, Marion.
Oh, good morning, Leon. Yes, look, I'm at midway point and I have NBN, and I tell you what, I've been extremely disappointed in it. And I'm not blaming the NBN, I'm blaming the provider. And I wonder if your guest could tell me how they picked the providers, because I've been on the internet since 1997, and I have never had so much trouble as I've had.
Marion, I'll get your details. I will get your details, and we'll have a look at that, because it could be a story for later. So thank you for that. Let's say good morning to Chris let's say good morning to Chris, who'll be in Sandy Bay. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Trent. My question is the physical rollout of the cabling. Will that be underground? Bearing in mind that we used to have all the telephone wires on poles and they were at great expense put underground.
Will it be underground? Trent Williams, in the seconds we have left.
Yeah, so what our policy is, if you currently have services that are underground, we'll try and use those services.
And that means
Nice to talk to you.
Quick enough for you?
Yeah, okay, so that means running down the street, if it's underground, they'll go underground. Trent,
That's correct.
It's been good to talk to you, and as you can tell from the sort of picking up of the pace, there's still a heap of people to get to, and everyone's come in with a rush. We'd like to do it again sometime. Can we do that with you?
Yeah, absolutely, Leo.
It's been nice to talk to you. Trent Williams from NBN Co. It's coming up to 10 o'clock on your local ABC. It's news time.